beard's legit. You've been working on
Yeah,
that?
I figured since I don't have anything to do, I'll let it grow. And got a nice patch of gray here that my son thinks is mayonnaise. But
Well, we know that's just wisdom coming out on you, right?
yeah, something.
Oh, nice
How you
little
been,
fire
man?
you got there. I've been good, man. Welcome to my classroom.
Thank you.
I couldn't be happier having you here and doing what I'm doing. I mean, it's just a magical thing, you know. We got some students with us today. I'm not going to take a ton of time having them introduce themselves because that just kind of takes up a lot of our time when we can be listening to some stuff. So we got Matthew. Why don't you guys just wave when I call your name, just so he, Mr. Peoples here sees you, and we'll just do that for now. Let's first have, let's say, Matthew. Can you wave, please? There's Matthew. He's actually in Idaho. He's up in Idaho, but he can still access his learning from there. So.
Strange times, huh?
Yeah, that's for certain.
We have some good friends and living in Utah, taking classes in Colorado. So.
Yeah, well, that's the beauty of if you're looking at making lemonade out of lemons here, like we can be in different places, but still like learn together, you know? So we got that ability to do that. And then we got Dakota, True Love. Dakota, you want to give him a piece? What's up? Dakota's with us today. Wave, Dakota. Wake up. Dakota, there you are. John Moneyman Becker, can you give me a piece or wave at least? John, lean up. You can do this. Just wave. Say hi. Can you say hi, John? Well, that's John Becker anyway. He'll be talking a little bit to us later. How about you, Xander? Can you say hello? Just wave. There you go. And then we got Miss Blanco. She's with us today. You want to say hello? There she is. Antonio, how are you? Can you say hello? Just wave. There he is. And then we got one of my assistants here, Miss C. We call her Linda also. She'll say hi. And we got Robert. You want to just wave and say hello? There you go. And we got Mrs. P. She's one of our assistants. Lovely teacher we have. She's saying hello. We got Jack Wilbanks. He's a heavy metal connoisseur. He likes that rock music. You want to say hello? Okay. Jack, you want to just wave real quick? Just there you go. And we got Devin. He doesn't usually turn his camera on. Crispin, you want to turn your camera on and say hello? There you are. Oh, Devin's going to turn. Hey, you're with us. Way to go, guys. All right. So that's the crew, man.
Awesome.
I do kind of want to just take a minute to introduce you to these people because you are, oh yeah, we got our principals. I'm so sorry, you guys. Please don't hold that against me. Yeah, he's going to yell at me. That's Mr. Crane and Miss Eitzen. They're out looking like they're delivering some stuff to people, probably helping kids out in this time. They're joining us because I told them how awesome you were, and they're like, well, yeah, we'll check it out. So
pressure's on.
Yeah. You don't want to go to the principal's office, you know.
Been there a few times. It's been a while.
Yeah, whatever. I hope you still remember how to play that thing. I know it's been a little bit, right?
This is the first live gig I played since March 14th, actually.
And how do you feel about that? Like, do you miss the people feeling that?
It's been a nice break. I've been a professional musician for 25 years, which means playing 200 times a year, being on, the band that last band I was in, I was on the road maybe 4 months of the year. So it's really nice to be home with my kids. I have a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old kid, and kind of, be around for their schooling as well. They're taking school at home, and normally during the holidays I'm traveling. So it's been really nice just to be home for all the holiday stuff and get the decorations out and my fake fire on the TV.
So it sounds like you're enjoying this respite because your whole life you've been pushing it hard being a musician, right?
Definitely, yeah. But
yeah.
I think it's time to, I've taken the time to rest. Now I might see if I can get into it and take some time to practice and write and grow a little bit more and take the opportunity of not having to be performing nonstop and improve my playing.
Yeah. Well, our theme, what we do is we have a theme every week, and we are going to have a saxophone week. So we might see if you're available later in the year.
I'll be there.
And I'm definitely going to get a hold of your dad too on that week and see if he can join us.
Yeah, I just talked to him yesterday about it and told him that you might be calling. It was his 68th birthday yesterday.
Is that right? 68. Wow. Yeah, they're getting up there, aren't they?
Yeah, they moved to Michigan recently, so they live up near Lake Michigan on the south side of Michigan.
Yeah, that's quite the move. That's where your mom's family's from, right?
Correct. I bet they miss their old neighbor Dwayne, though.
Yeah, my dad it was just like nothing like those neighbors, All right, man. Well, like I was saying, we got a new theme every week, and this being so close to Christmas and New Year's, we decided we'd have a holiday music week. So yesterday we had Danny Hagen on, and he played some original songs and then some covers. He covered Blue Christmas, you know, the Elvis track. So I know you were gonna dust off the saxophone and play a couple of those holiday songs for us. Isn't that right?
That's right. I figured since it's so snowy here, I'd play some songs about snow.
Before you begin, may I ask that you just kind of show us your instrument a little bit? I bet some of these kids haven't really even seen a saxophone before.
Definitely. So the first instrument I'm going to play is a tenor saxophone. And it looks really old because it is. This horn was made in 1968. But they don't make them the way they used to. These saxophones, it's called a Selmer Mark VI, were made between 1955 and 1975. And to me are the best saxophones out there still. I think a lot of it is because a lot of the music I listen to is from that time frame in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and I just like that tone of the instrument. And this saxophone was actually owned by a friend of mine, a guy who was very helpful to me when I was a young man, or a young teenager even, in Des Moines, Iowa, trying to get into the music scene. And he was very helpful, and I bought this horn from him. And so this horn, I think, has been played by a professional since 1968. So it's not very shiny like the newer ones, but I love the way it looks. I love the way it sounds.
And a tenor sax is going to have a lower pitch sound, right?
Correct, yeah. Typically, the saxophones that you see are the soprano sax that I'm going to play also, the higher one. The alto sax is the next lowest. Then comes the tenor sax. Then the big old baritone sax is the fourth common horn that you see out there, and that's really low. And I like to play that instrument sometimes too, but it's heavy to carry around town.
I bet. It's big.
Yep.
So what is this first song that you wanted to play?
I'm going to play Let It Snow, Let It Snow, Let It Snow.
We wish we could get some snow out here. It's pretty warm usually. So, yeah, why don't you play that track, and then we'll just hope the snow starts falling. That'd be great.
And I'll explain what I'm going to do with this song a little bit as well. I'm going to kind of play it like a jazz song. So kind of the first time through, I'm just going to play the melody. I might be a little fancy with it, but just play it pretty straight. Now, the next time through, I don't know if I'll go 1 or 2 times through. I'm going to do what's called improvising, where I'm going to kind of make up my own melody. I might start off by kind of playing the melody a little bit. I might play some other stuff. I can play whatever I want. And then I'll come back and play the melody one more time at the end.
Can you just tell us what a melody is really quick? These are new words maybe to some of us.
So the melody is the song, you know, like the lyrics when you're singing the song. The weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. Probably messed up the words. I'm not good with lyrics since I play saxophone. So that's the melody. That's the part that everybody knows. And then what the jazz people do with it is they will then take that melody and they'll change it. They'll play their own interpretation of it. They'll play all kinds of different things, and it's kind of endless creativity.
Cool.
You know, so you kind of see what I mean. So when I get to the end of what you think the end of the song, I'm going to start the song again. But this, I'll make up what I want to play after that. Hopefully, I don't miss it.
We can't wait to hear it, man. I'm excited. Let me unmute. That was what the kids call sick, man. That was so good. Right, guys? I mean, that was impressive. I'm glad to see you still got it, Nathan.
I can play. I don't know if I can get through an hour set with a loud band right yet. I have to get in shape. It's kind of like sports, you know, if you get out of shape.
Yeah, you got to. That's what I've been telling the kids, like with their reading and stuff, you know, like think about reading. If you stop reading for 2 weeks and you're just kind of really getting a lot of words down, you go back to it, you take a step backwards.
My biggest challenge with music, even when I'm playing all the time, is reading music. I do it well, but if I don't do it, it's like weightlifting. You lose it. You get out of shape. And same thing. But I can get through a couple of songs even without playing it for a while.
Yeah, that's the talent and the practice that you've always had, right?
Yeah, and the fact that I've been doing it since I was 10, so 30 years.
Yeah.
Jared, Mr. Harney used to hear me play across the field in our neighborhood there.
Yeah, what a treat. Like we would just sit out on the deck and hear Nathan and his dad's a musician as well, playing their saxophones, and we would just have dinner out there. It would just echo through the hay field over to us, and it was just like having Kenny G in the backyard, you know?
I almost got his hair now too. I'm working on it.
Yeah. Have you ever met Kenny G? I was just going to ask you that.
No, I have not.
Well, Kenny G would be lucky to meet you. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
That's right.
I have met some fantastic. You know, probably my favorite saxophone player maybe that I've met is trying to blank on his name. He's the current saxophone player for the Dave Matthews Band, and he also plays with Bela Fleck and the Flecktones. What can you think?
Yeah, he can play two saxophones at once, right?
Yeah, yep.
I've seen.
So he came into my music store in Des Moines when I worked there, and came and talked to me about saxophones. And then I went to his concert that night, and we ended up hanging out and listening to music with a bunch of people at his hotel room afterwards. So it was really cool to hang out with the guy whose name I can't remember.
It's Jeff Coffin.
Jeff Coffin, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm like the guy with the long dreaded beard, goatee.
Yeah, exactly. So this is your alto sax, yeah?
This is my soprano saxophone.
Oh, I'm sorry, soprano.
So you'll notice that it's straight as opposed to the curve of the tenor saxophone. Now they do make curved soprano saxophones that they look like toys, they look like baby saxophones. And they also make straight alto saxophones that are hanging down to your feet. But typically you'll see the straight soprano saxophones. I think it gives it just a little bit different of a tone. I don't know, it's kind of interesting. Especially when you hear a straight alto saxophone as well. But this one is basically an octave higher than the tenor sax. If I were to play a note on the tenor sax, the same note, let's see if I can do this. I can't Jeff Coffin it at the same time, but so that's the note there. I play the same note on this one. It's a higher pitch by 1 octave.
And an octave, I'm going to try to sound smart here, so correct me if I'm wrong. An octave is 8, because we got oct, right? 8 levels up or down on a scale, correct? Yeah.
Correct. And on the musical scale, an octave is the same note. If you jump up or down an octave, you're playing the same note. It's just in a higher register. So I could play a high C, go down an octave, go down another octave. It's the same pitch. It's the same note. You call it a C, but it's just a different place in the music and higher sound.
And in between those C's, there's E's, A's, D's, and G's, right?
Yep. It goes from G to G, basically. So I guess they're A to G. So C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C.
And that would be like a scale right there, because you went from low to high, right?
Yep.
In order.
Yes.
Awesome, man. Well, what song's next on this beautiful machine here?
Well, as I look out my window to the snowman my daughter built in the park across the street, I'm going to play Frosty the Snowman.
All right. We all know that one. That's good.
I'm going to kind of do the same thing where I kind of play the melody, then I get to mess around for a while, have some fun, and then back to the melody.
Sounds good. That was beautiful. Like I was just like in a trance almost, dude. Wow. Well,
And now I can see it in the camera.
you haven't missed a beat, man. It's time now for the Q&A section. We got just about 10, 15 minutes maybe left here. And I know you're going to lead us out in a song. I had a request. You know you have to do my request, right? Like traditional song, yeah. Well, let's go to Crispin. I put some questions in the chat for our kids to now ask you. We didn't have time to really rehearse that. Usually we have our speech path with us who kind of coaches our kids, but we'll see how we can do. Crispin, I sent you a note in the chat. Can you go ahead and try to read that and so Mr. Peoples can hear your question?
I want to ask.
Yeah, that's the part I was telling you, but inside the quotation marks is what I want you to ask him. It starts with what?
What was your most remarkable show that you played yet?
That's an interesting question. The first one that comes up is just because of the amount of people that I played to. I believe in 2016, the Denver Broncos won the Super Bowl, and I played at their trophy ceremony, and I played in front of 1 million people downtown Denver. And I only got to play about 3 songs, but it was really neat just seeing that many people. I got to see a lot of the players. As far as, to go the other end to a very small place, when I was living in Iowa, when I was about 24 years old, I remember getting asked to play with this guy who plays a Hammond organ, who was my hero growing up. I used to love hearing him play. And I got to be in his band. I got to be in his every Monday night jazz group. And we were playing for maybe 100 people at that. But I learned so much, and it was maybe the most fun I've ever had playing. It was just jazz music. It was relaxed. It was way different end of the spectrum.
Where was that venue at that you're talking about in Iowa?
Court Avenue Brewing Company.
Oh yeah, I remember. I don't even know, is that still around?
I think so. I'm not sure, with everything going on, if that's been affected, but it's been there as long as I've known.
Well, that number 1 million, I mean, that is a big number of people to play to. Wow.
Yeah, it was unreal. And we played on the courthouse steps that look across this long park over to the Capitol building, and the whole place was flooded with people.
Jeez, what an honor. All right, we got Xander coming up with a question. Xander, I sent it to you in the chat. You just want to read inside those quotation marks. It starts with the word how.
How much did you have to practice to get good at good?
Oh boy, a lot of time. As I sit here and saying I haven't practiced for several months, but when I was in high school and junior high, and even in my early years, I would practice at least an hour or two a day. I was very fortunate to be very supported at the high school I went to, and I was good at getting my schoolwork done. And when I had a study hall, I could get a pass and go to the band room, and I would sit in the practice room and practice and practice and practice, and just tried to practice as much as I could, try to play, as many times as I could. Helps when they give you money to do that, but I mean, anytime I could play or even go sit in with a band, just gain that experience. But what's the old saying? It takes 10,000 hours of practice to master something, and I probably practiced 20,000 hours, and I can't say I've mastered the saxophone.
Nathan, this is just a personal question, buddy, but are you living your dream right now? Like, is this what you always wanted to do?
What I always wanted to do, yeah. It's not always fun. It's sometimes tiring. It's sometimes a lot of hard traveling and everything, but yeah, it's what I never wanted to do anything else. I always wanted to play music. I've had some other jobs along the way to help, make ends meet with our family and everything, but I've always been supported and encouraged. And yeah, it's pretty magical when you're getting the right musical situation and like, oh, I'm also paying my bills doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think it's cool. Both of us are living our dreams, because this is always what, I wanted to do, is work with kids, and here I am, and I got the best kids
man.
in this. It's awesome.
So cool to hear from you, man. I two little Boughton kids.
Yeah, exactly. That's what this is all about. Jack, I know you're sometimes a shy gentleman, but do you think you can work on this question I sent you in the chat? It'd be really cool if you could get this one out. Just be patient for a minute here. Jack, you can do this, man. I sent you a message in the chat that has a question for you to ask Nathan. Can you try to ask him this?
What's your favorite style of music?
Yes. He asked what your favorite style of music was. Great job, Jack.
Yeah, thanks, Jack. I love jazz first and foremost. That's kind of what I grew up on, listening to my dad play. I almost call him Grandpa Jerry because that's what we call him with my kids anymore. But I also really got into with rhythm and blues and soul music and funk music, kind of from the 50s and 60s and 70s. I really love Ray Charles and James Brown. But to me, the saxophone, the tone of that saxophone always grabbed my attention. I would hear that, I would perk up, and I would, even when I was really young, and I just gravitated to saxophone players. And there's a lot of saxophone in that early R&B and funk stuff too. But my favorite saxophone player is a guy named John Coltrane. He's my favorite of all time. And there's so many great ones to listen to. It's kind of a fun world once you get into it. There's, back in the 90s, we had to go and buy CDs at Best Buy. We couldn't download anything. We had no YouTube. So I would spend hundreds of dollars getting this new stuff. And I'd go, oh, I got to hear this new guy. I got to hear this new guy. And it was this nonstop thing of learning and listening. And one of the biggest things about practicing music is listening. And I listen to a lot of music. Even when I haven't been playing, I still am listening and keeping my brain active. And I listen very closely and try to hear what everybody's doing and try and steal their licks from them, I guess.
Dakota had a question for our artist. I think it was last week. I think. Dakota, you remember what you asked when you asked your question last week? Do you remember what you asked? You should ask Mr. Peoples that question.
What? Stop.
Yeah, remember you asked our last artist about Phil Collins? Can you ask Nathan about that?
So do you have you ever heard of Phil Collins before?
I have.
Remaster?
Sorry, say that again?
Remaster, I think. Let me see if I try to find it again. It says it right here. It says right here. In the air tonight, 2015 remaster by Phil Collins. You know him, right?
I do. You're kind of broke up there. My internet is slow in my house sometimes too.
All right, well, let me take over here. What he's asking you is if you ever heard that song "In the Air Tonight." You know what I mean?
I have.
That's a good one, right?
Yeah. In fact, my dad was in a band called Mr. Moto in the 80s in Des Moines, and they used to play that song. And so I knew it first from hearing my dad's band play it. He had cassette tapes, if you even know what those are, that he would record his band. And I remember him playing that song. And Phil Collins is also a very good drummer. He doesn't play drums much anymore. He just sings, but he was the drummer for the band Genesis, and he's a very good percussionist as well.
I told you to check out Genesis, Dakota. That's the early stuff, man. All right, Nathan, we're almost out of time here. We really appreciated you. Thanks for taking a moment to come.
Definitely. Thank you. It was so much fun. You guys did a great job asking questions. And
yeah, right? We're proud of these kids.
Yeah.
You want to lead us out? Let me explain something really quick to these guys. So everybody might have a family tradition, right? Around Christmas time or New Year's or whatever. Well, our families, being so close to each other and really the only ones around there, we would have this tradition where at Nathan's house, his parents would light a big bonfire in the backyard on New Year's Eve. And it could be like below zero. Like it could be really cold. But that bonfire would keep us all warm. And we would celebrate that night with beverages and food and just music. You guys would play your saxophones. And
Jared, do you remember that? You remember that old hot tub Dad put together out of an old cow trough?
Yes, I do. Yeah. That's the inventive stuff we would do back in the country, right? Well,
Yes, sir.
When it came time for midnight, we'd watch the clock carefully. And as you know, we count down from 10 when it's about midnight on New Year's Eve. But Jerry, your dad, after midnight, we were all kind of in that celebratory mood, would play this song. You want to tell us what the title of this song is called?
Auld Lang Syne, if I pronounce it correctly.
Yeah.
Butcher that.
I don't know. It sounded good to me. This is a Scottish song. It's a traditional Scottish song that was written. And what that really means, those words are good riddance or goodbye to the year. You know what I mean? So long. And so this has been a tough year for a lot of us. And hopefully 2021 is a bright spot for a lot of us and we can continue moving forward with our energy. And so as you listen to this song, just like reflect a little bit about some of those things that happened in 2020 and just say goodbye to them. You know what I mean? And let's start over. So without further ado, Mr. Peoples.
We're going to count it down?
Yeah, let's do it. Everybody, can you get your fingers up? It's kind of hard to do it all in sync with the volume, but let's put our fingers up to 10. And when you hear me counting, just go give yourself one less finger, okay? Here we go, guys. It's goodbye to 2020 here. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year! Man, that was great. All right, man, we're out of time. We're gonna take our break now. We come back from math in about 10 minutes. But everybody, can you give Nathan a wave or a clap or those finger things we do sometimes? You know what I mean? Just show him your love. You know what I mean? The dude's real. All right, Nathan, take care of your family. It was great to see you.
Yeah, you too, buddy. I look forward to seeing you guys when you talk more about saxophones. I'm ready.
All right, I think we'll be about February for that one. Okay.
Perfect.
All right.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays. So long, my friend.
See you, Jared.
All right, guys. Get up and move around a little bit. Get something to eat. Use the restroom. Whatever you do now for your 10 minutes. Okay. We'll be back.